Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, on occasions to occasions, yeah, it's actually, of course, I'm seeing it's very sad news, for this and for this kind of violence, which is taking place right here, Khartoum, and that's the map here. So, and if you look on this map here, we have the map is not exactly like this currently because the guy, as we said, they carried like this, and of course that is around. This was happening around 2010. Okay, the cutting was created 2010, and that's why if you look from 2010, Sudan lost what they called manifesto arrangements for organized addition for organized elections campaigned, and for which only I guess there is a coup which has been run over and over around right there. uh, two policies were changes up, and also with that, and I guess also there is a new this one a control from another opposition leaders. They want to turn themselves from opposition to this one to the presidential level. They want to become a president, and then other than opposing her, they want to ensure they are proposing the motions of this entire map which you are seeing here. But as the effort of this entire map is divided, and how they want, if we really need, as the Sudanese, we all need this map not to be divided, and they will look one, on which for our side we claimed, and then the map will bear seven. Okay, the whole map here for the unifications, it will bear seven. And if you see South Sudan is somewhere right there, okay, is very far away from Sudan now, doesn't work with Sudan, it is all attached under seven. But if you look, this area here is Equatorial now Sudan, and then this is South Sudan, and this is Darfur, and this is Khartoum Sudan right there. So, and if you look, no changes there actually. So we have no changes of the cities. The cities remain where they are. What we have here on the map, we brought seven, okay, to fire this South Sudan, because it's not easy to fire this guy, the South Sudan. We found when we are doing the service was like this. You may see we created the service that was like this to fire the guy. It was quite too difficult for people to understand, and that was taking us back as before, all before. So this one become after. Okay, so if they become after, if you look here, this is now the Sudan, the original Sudan. But here, if you look seriously on the map area, you can see this line here is dotted. Okay, down here is Equatorial Sudan. Somewhere here is South Sudan, and then somewhere here is the Sudan. This is connecting the Down Sudan, Equatoria is with Khartoum, and then South Sudan is also with Khartoum. Darfur is with Khartoum, and everywhere that is connected under seven. So that is the portfolio. See, we explained with the large map, which is the real Khartoum before. And if not this one, what about this one here, the original copy of the trap identifications, where they identify each traps. This trap is this one, that trap is that one, that trap is this one, the other one is this one, and that is this one, where they're differentiating the traps. So on occasions, that's how they are differentiating. And if you see, the proposals, the government proposals. We are the government proposal. Myself, I'm a government proposals. If I'm not a government proposals, I cannot hold a government proposals on my hands, and then the detailing condition for Juba area, and then detailing for Khartoum area, and then detailing for the world. This is the scenarios we need on the map, not to be divided, because if they are divided, creating a divided map, this map, as we said, how they are made, they are met earlier around 1812 when the education barrier was too much. You have to pay school fees, you have to sell your cow, you have to sell your goat to go to schools, and then things are worse. And then that's how things are not good, people are not reasonable. And then if you look on those map, so and it gives a lot of headaches for most people. That's why everything doesn't look good. And if you see this ideology of the South Sudanese people there, the ideology is a terrorist and there is a rebellion to Khartoum development. They are not developing Khartoum. They can even react because they are notorious. They are fighting in DRC, and then they're fighting outside the countries. They're going like this. They're heavier. They're going like this. They're rich. They're going out of control. That is rebellism because they're destroying DRC, and then once they go like that, why what about the country they left there? You see, and it's not good. It's not appropriate to destroy this one, the capital city. A capital city is a capital city. You know, those capital cities, as we said, they are attached together. That is like Khartoum, like Nairobi, like Kampala, like every other capital cities. They are all attached. Okay, so they are made many years ago. So they are created because of those map. How those map standards made them. That's how they are raised up. And if you look on occasions, these maps which we are seeing here, that map, the particular map of South Sudan is very fake because it's tiny there, is tiny on the bottom area, and if you look on the you take it as a wall map to another country, South Sudan, or you take it a Khartoum alone to USA. You are invited to USA to come to Khartoum. A government USA, a proposal governments like this. You are supposed to take now the Sudan map and go with the world map to USA for G7, for instance, for example, or G20 government official meeting or conference. You cannot, of course, fit with those wide G20 or G7 or G8 or you name it. You cannot fit there. You are not reasonable. You are abnormal because the map is divided. Okay, that's why this South Sudan guy is divided. Is the map there is very most ugly. Okay, it's too tiny, small, and is very ugly. It's giving that shape there very ugly. And if you see on what we try on the map, we show you some map right there on my T-shirt, and then on my hoodie, on the other hoodies which I saw you guys on the Facebooks. Some of you are following me too much, and then you know little bit that we cut only 7 like this, and then we would throw away Drafu at first, and then the Drafu fall off, and then we found the whole thing doesn't work well. And then we divide South Sudan, we leave it like that. First, we take the foof off, and then we leave Khartoum. That's 7 for Khartoum. Doesn't fit. The whole thing doesn't fit. Okay, so we try dividing it 3, doesn't fit. The map looking very ugly, and then we have a children futures very very variable. Okay, and then it may come and then and fool us too much. If that's what we consider to be 3, it will fool us too much. And if for us, the Equatorian people, we are the Madis or the Bari or the Cholis or the Lutugos or the Didingas or the Arabs of the Juba, and then you may see we have this small map down here. This Equatoria, which is down here, very tiny, is a tiny map, cannot go even a country. They can say that we are Equatorians. That's why they're saying we are Equatorians, because for them, they have only small, tiny land, and this land is like this, is very ugly, cannot go as a country, is very silly. And if you cut it, and whatever you give South Sudan different, and you say it, let them go a country here, It's not possible. We cannot go even tomorrow. Even we have no children future that will turn Equatoria as a country of its independence. Never. It's not gonna go. That's why we are Equatorians. We don't care. We are calling the names. It's not a country. It's not a nation to us. It's not even has no flag, and then nobody has a national item over it. And then it's just something like just the children they're playing with, or they're calling themselves, because it's too difficult for them to say it here. I'm a Mahdi, or I'm a Bari, or Kakwa, or for them to differentiate themselves, or to distinguish themselves, or to group themselves, because as Equatorial, they already group themselves. They know they have like 501 tribes. To name this 501 tribe is a difficult over that area. That's why if you see this rivaling here of this Equatorial and the South Sudanese people here, this is how the rivaling was occurring. And if this rivaling we are having, because we the Equatorians, we see these eras here, this map era here, we saw it, and then this is the improvement we are having here. Okay, we have this improvement so that we can have what, a future to talk about in the future, to be united back. So this is our policy as Ugandan, our policy as a Kenyan. Okay, so we know we stood very firm. If we call we are Tanzania, then never. We can be pulled by rope to go to Tanzania, and then you may evict our Ugandan land, and you may evict our Kenyan lands, which we already have 50% as a refugee over that area, and then we are developing as a home to be in the future. So that is why is bearing us. We are too close to the border to Kenya, too closest to the border to Uganda, too closest to the border of the Central African Republic, too very closest, 1 minute or 5 second walk to DRC, and then 5 second walk to this one, to Ethiopia. You see, is a border. Everywhere is a border. So this is Equatorian. We all rely upon that area. But the thing is like this guy, if you see this South Sudan guy, how do they come right there? That is their coordination with the drunk Equatorians. The people who are drunk, total 100% drunk. The guy want to drink that liquor. Of course, there are some tips coming for them. They can have it and then go and liquors. That's the opinions they have behind. So if you hold that, and then you know exactly how that's happening around that area, and that capacity is there. So you know this is to do what? This is to do back that Sudan which we have as a division here. Okay, which has no divisions. And if you look right there, that is a treble only, treble divisions we have right there, a treble divisions which they try to become 501 tribes right there. That is 501 tribes, inter tribes. Okay, and landmarking, a lot of landmarking right there. So if you look, so to bring back this unity, we created 7. That's why if you live in Khartoum, why can't you listen to this agenda, research it? Do you have problems researching? Do you people want to go back to schools to get this research undertaken or reconsidered? Because this is you hold a paper like this, you can dodge a lot of war, you can dodge a lot of violence, and then you have yourself lecture, you have everyone lecture, and then you at least has an answer to your meet groups, or where you shop, or where you buy things, or where you clubs, or where you go. You know, as a youth, that is the only ordinary things we have. Because myself, I work in my office. I'm a banker, and then it's a little bit very hard for us and myself and any other individuals for us to work very hard, or to work very urgent, and then create all these things on the world map. We have a world map, okay? The world map is under this paper here. They only give us 2 copies here. You can see copy 1, copy 2. When we go to library to print the whole informations, the whole map was hidden at the back of the other copies, and then the printer refused to pull it out. Okay, so they pull us these 1 copies. When I reach home, I try to check it, and then I found the whole thing is gone. So don't worry, and then we will have the whole map reprinted, and then we will have, if that's one, we will have the rest of those things mentioned. But on the whole map, we don't have the exact 7 like this. So we admire some of these 7 to more than that we have. And if you look there on East Africa, what is that we have not really there? We have Uganda, too tiny, small, but it's okay. We have Kenya, we have Tanzania, we have DRC right there. We have Central Africa, the rest of countries we hide them, and African countries we hide them. And if for African countries we have it right there like that, and that is how it goes. Okay, for African countries we have it right there, also 7, and then the same thing is available on the world map. Okay, so we have a world map of this one, but we failed to print it because the paper was rejected automatically without our notice. And then at the summary of the printing, we found only page 1 and 2 were printed. So it's a little bit very difficult. But if we look from the old cross sections we have with the other wall map, we have other wall map like this one here printed. Okay, we have other wall map like this one here printed. The information is right there. A wall map. We have a wall map like that one. We have a wall map like this one here. That is also 7 right there. And then we have as Sudan, the whole thing Sudan. So whatever is from Libya to Uganda, that is the Sudan. We created right there. And you can see we have no other things. So we also portionally part of the violent assault to Khartoum. Yes, we are part of that because we did editing, a lot of editing here to Sudan map. You see there, a lot of editing here to Sudan map. This is a Sudan original Sudan map, and then who are behind that offense and that crime. That is South Sudan, is the crime and the offensive. There is the rebel and a terrorist. For me, I come right after the agreement. They have a long-term agreement, and we also went under long-term investigations. We thoroughly investigated this South Sudan. I was a South Sudan. I was saying I was a South Sudan when they were coming new, because they were proving they want to get rich. That's all they were asking people to support them, because they are going viral and they have video cameras, everything. And then I tried to pull myself and then calm down. Let's see, let whoever agree with you, let them agree. But we have our agenda as a Sudanese. We will come in long terms. That's all we have. And then this is how we from that very particular 2010, 2011 agreement, 2012 agreement, 2013 agreement, we sat down, and then 2015, that's when we started this negligence of that South Sudan, because we see they only fit well in East Africa, South Sudan. They fit like this in East Africa. When they fit on now on the real Sudan, which is Khartoum, they are pretending. Okay, they are pretending they are good, and that is when they use the world map. When we ask them, take your world map with you. You are South Sudanese. You say your country, take your world map with you. Don't just take East Africa. Take a world map with you. So including South Africa, including Europe, Asia, and then North America. Take them to New York, if you can fit, and you can fit as a lecturer over that country. No HBA universities will hire you as a lecturer over that countries there. You can be fired when you go to Harvard's university as a lecturer. You cannot fit there. You may find you are fired because that world map is ugly, and very ugly. and is ugly. We cannot pretend over it. It's very ugly, doesn't really fit well. It doesn't really reason with the real owner or with the real landlord or with the real landowners of that particular Equatorians, or that if I'm to speak on behalf of the Equatorians, or I'm to speak on the behalf of these seven, where the seven originated, the landowners, follows which areas? Where do you see the seven match? Maybe the landowner was after the seventh. They were fitting seventh. They live there too, because the other landowner was fitting two. Maybe the two become the Ethiopian, portional part of the Ethiopian, as a 25% cut off. That's why the whole thing, which you are seeing as seventh, is now the seventh, which is left right there for the landowner, because Ethiopia was grabbed from that particular ownership. You see, it is really isolations, and is really misunderstanding, and is really chaotic, and is really violent. If you understand or you want to think about it, that is really totally violence. But the whole thing is like this. Okay, the whole thing is like this. This is what I'm explaining. So if we take the two, this corner right there can reveal Ethiopia is somewhere right there. Okay, and then the two is somewhere right there as Ethiopia goes to Somalia and regions via Kenya. You see? So that is how, and with the two doesn't really, maybe I'm not a good artist. Maybe the two guys knows that very better, and we cannot bring Ethiopia back to Sudan. You know that problems there? That's the chaotic is violence, of course. We cannot do that. That's why we feed only seven as appropriate measures to measure that land, and then particularly return it back as a Sudan, because this is a procedure to unificate or to unite Sudan, other than defeat Sudan, other than decode Sudan, if that is the necessities there. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Waine HassanZiziton, and then formerly, if Equatorians, that is the Waine families. Okay, the Waine families, from Waine families. So the Waine families, that is Equatorians, they all know that, or the Kenji families, they all know that, or the you name it, okay, or the Fonis families, or the Kiden families from Lutugos, or the Didingas, okay, vis-a-vis if it's for Bari, or if it's the Acholis or the Luos, that is the Kenyi or the Kenyis families. Otherwise, that is the overview on these areas that matters the most, because this is the areas where the Equatorians relies upon, and that is the deals is the Equatorians. We don't deals with the South Sudans, because that is mostly the most ugly. We are not promoting you, we are pissing you instead. If you want, you can catch me outside, you can knock my door, you can beat me up. If you say you are smarter, you are so Sudan, you are smarter, you can knock my door, you can beat me up, you can find me outside, you can beat me up, but I will finish you up. Okay? You are ugly. That is you creating the whole process there. You know that? So vis-a-vis, ladies and gentlemen, no much waste times, and of course that is that overview.